up, motherfuckers? It's your boy, the hater up in this piece. Remember when I said I was going to do a video every day? Well, guess what? I lied, motherfuckers, I lied. I tried, though. Motherfuckers, and I have a few videos in the pipeline, but things just weren't exciting. But here we are, cucks. Here we are, ever so closer to WrestleMania up in this bitch, and we're going to talk a lot these next coming weeks. But today, possibly the biggest news since the hater started his channel. I mean, I have to say, this is one of the biggest news in the history of wrestling, let's be honest, right? Cody Rhodes, motherfuckers. Cody Rhodes is leaving AEW, probably for WWE, let's be honest. Now, you motherfuckers are probably thinking, but hater, why is that big news? You kept saying that Cody Rhodes is a loser and a cuck. Now, motherfuckers, if you go back to one of my recent videos, I fully acknowledge that out of everyone in AEW, Cody Rhodes is probably one of the best wrestlers, right? Cody Rhodes does have a lot of abilities. The things that hold him back are his cuckishness. You know, this nonsense. Him and Brandy Rhodes, you know, like Brandy Rhodes just pretty much got paid for 3 years to do fucking nothing, motherfuckers. These people are smart, and Cody Rhodes may be the smartest person in wrestling today. You gotta give credit where credit's due. Now, do I like what he did? Fuck no, motherfuckers. I like loyalty. I don't like people that use other people. And the way that I read this is very simple, motherfuckers. If we're being honest, the entire concept of AEW is a Cody Rhodes creation. You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that. Tony Khan, irrelevant. This guy's just a wallet. He doesn't understand anything about wrestling. If it were up to him, all they would do is keep signing people like Miro and Malachi Black to eventually go fight on AEW Dark, alright? This guy doesn't know what he's doing. The company's fucking doomed. Let's be honest, alright? And it's not doomed because Cody Rhodes left and he's the creative genius. Absolutely not. He's not a creative genius by any means. Cody Rhodes is a cuck. Let's not forget that. But the facts are what the facts are, motherfuckers, and we're going to get to them right now. First of all, Cody Rhodes, he is someone that had the balls to start a company, right? Kenny Omega and the Young Cucks, they were around for a while. They were around in New Japan for a while. Kenny Omega was like a junior heavyweight, and the Young Bucks were junior heavyweight champions, right? So, let's be real. These guys were around for a while. Tony Khan was around for a while doing nothing, right? And the reality is that this company did not start until two things happened. One, Jericho went to New Japan, right? Thus giving New Japan some legitimacy. Jericho's there, motherfuckers. Right? Kenny Omega rose through the ranks as well simultaneously, hence the Jericho feud. Like, Jericho did it to put over Kenny Omega. It's a huge favor. It's like the best thing that someone's ever done for Kenny Omega is Jericho going and beating him and then losing to him and then beating him all that stupid crap. Now, the second thing that had to happen is Cody Rhodes, motherfuckers. Cody Rhodes had to leave WWE and bet on himself, which he did. And let's be honest, it worked, alright? It worked. I don't like Cody Rhodes as much as the next guy. I think he's annoying as a person. In the ring, he's bearable, but he has a repetitive moveset, and he's basically the AEW version of John Cena. You know, and I don't like the little things where he's like making fun of Triple H on the stupid crap. Like, get over yourself, right? But the reality is what the reality is. Cody Rhodes, if anyone that's smart knows, Cody Rhodes used Tony Khan, motherfucker. Just like Bubba Ray used Brooke Hogan in that storyline where he's like, I used your daughter, Hulk, right? Same thing. Cody Rhodes has been doing for the last almost 3 years now, 2.5 years, whatever, exactly what I've been saying he's been doing since day one. You can go back to my old videos, motherfuckers, while other people have their cockamamie theories about what AEW will be. People are saying, oh, AEW is going to be a huge success. Cody's here to stay. No one's going to leave. Why would anyone leave AEW to go to WWE and be underutilized, right? People were saying that. People, the dumber people in the world, some of them were saying things like, oh, Vince McMahon is going to buy AEW. Actually, that's not even that dumb. That's probably what's going to end up happening eventually. If anything. They'll probably buy it for like $20. Right? And some people were even spouting theories of it's an inside job. I'm sure these theories are going to pop up once again. Oh, it's an inside job when Cody eventually goes to WWE. Right? The reality is what the reality is. When Cody Rhodes bet on himself, he didn't say he's going to go out there and destroy WWE. He was just out there to raise his profile. Now, like Drew McIntyre did, motherfuckers. Except here's the difference. Cody Rhodes, number one, asked for his release. And two, has been more impressive than Drew McIntyre in the indie scene. Drew McIntyre went to TNA and started like The Rising or whatever with Camacho. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gives a fuck. right? Drew McIntyre was hired and was pushed strictly because of his look and his improvements in the ring, right? The fact that he's bigger and stronger and he can throw people over his head now. And it's been a while, people forgot about, like, you know, three-man band. Same thing, motherfuckers. It's been a while, people forgot about Stardust. Now Cody is Cody with the blonde hair. He has, quote-unquote, reinvented himself. Has he really done that? Of course not. He hasn't reinvented anything. He's the same fucking boring Cody Rhodes. But the facts are what the facts are. Now he can go to WWE as a fresh guy, right? Like Drew McIntyre did, like Bobby Lashley did, right? He can go as a fresh guy and say, while I was gone, right, the Intercontinental title, let's say, because that's what he's going to go after first, has been besmirched by the likes of Sami Zayn, right? Sami Zayn has done nothing while I built a company, right? That's going to be the subtext. He might not even cut that in a promo. But he will get a push. Now, is Cody Rhodes going to main event WrestleMania? Probably not, motherfuckers. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. He's still Cody Rhodes. Like, if you put Cody Rhodes next to Kenny Omega or even Jon Moxley, it's a competitive match. They look competitive. But if you put him next to, like, Roman Reigns or Omos, right, or Drew McIntyre or Lashley, he's still small-ass Cody Rhodes. So while I do think he's going to get a good run when he invariably goes to WWE eventually, right, I don't think it's going to be this, like, the run that he wants. He's gonna be disappointed. And dare I say, he might end up in AEW again. This man has no loyalties whatsoever, right? Now, why is this the worst thing to ever happen to AEW? And the most relevant wrestling news of all time, in my opinion. Or amongst. Obviously Hulk Hogan going to WCW is bigger news, but you understand what I'm saying. It's big news, not because Cody Rhodes, the once-in-a-lifetime talent, is going to WWE, because nobody cares about that. It sets a dangerous precedent. Number one, AEW has yet to release anybody, right? They haven't really released anybody. I think it's Big Swole, and as soon as she got released, she was like, they're racist, right? Boom. And she didn't say they're racist. To be fair, she didn't say they're racist, but she basically said that, like, they're not, like, living up to the things that they said they were going to do, right? And you know what? I agree with Big Swole, not in the race element, because I don't know anything about that. Like, and Tony Khan's like, well, I'm a person of color. Yeah, you're the fucking owner, dude. It doesn't really count, motherfucker. You know, like, you own it. And like Tony Khan acts like the fact that he's the top executive is like some sort of like meritorious thing, where like, because he's the CEO or whatever, the president of AEW, whatever the fuck he is, right? Because he's the president of AEW, right? It's like people of color can make it in this company. No, motherfucker, it's your company. You made yourself president. You didn't compete against other people and then won, despite the fact that you're a person of color because AEW is so open-minded. That's not what happened, you know? So Big Swole's argument, in my opinion, actually is sound, because the thing that I remember, the last thing I remember from Big Swole is she was beating the shit out of Britt Baker in a dentist match, right? Which was actually entertaining. And then she's off TV, Britt Baker's champion. You know? Britt Baker's like loses every feud, then becomes champion. Big Swole keeps winning, and she's released. So it is what it is. You know, obviously, I'm not saying that anyone's racist. Big Swole's boring. Like, you know, she's not exciting. Her name's Big Swole. But, like, the fact is, she was mishandled. You know, nobody wants to say it because it's AEW, and they only handle people well. But Big Swole was mishandled. She was presented as someone that was going to be something, right? And then they dropped the ball completely. Her last match was like a pay-per-view match that she won against Britt Baker. At least the last match I remember. The last noteworthy match, right? She won her last pay-per-view match. And then she was released. So talk about mishandling. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody ever gives AEW that stain. Oh, they mishandled this guy. They mishandled that guy. You know what I mean? But the facts are what the facts are, cucks. And here we find ourselves at a crossroads. I didn't even try to do that. That wasn't even a pun. Because Cody Rhodes was the crossroads. But the crossroads is this. Now that Cucky Rhodes has left, what prevents the Young Bucks from going to NXT? You know? Is it the big money that they're getting in AEW? No! There's no big money in AEW. You know, they might make a lot of money because they're like, you know, the founders of the company. They're like the big talent. But the reality is what the reality is, motherfucks. If Cody Rhodes, who's their obvious number one guy, it's Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega are their number one, number two, and the Young Bucks are like their number three draw. One might say, right? Now there's a few others like Jon Moxley and Daniel Bryan. But the facts are what the facts are. Cody Rhodes leaving opens the door for someone like Adam Page to leave. It opens the door for Miro to return. It opens the door, motherfucks, for Kenny Omega to leave. And then what do they have? Jericho, 100%, if there was any doubt, Jericho is going back to WWE sooner rather than later. The experiment has failed. And that's the most important thing here. The most important point in this video is this. Cody Rhodes leaving, and them not paying Cody Rhodes what they need to pay him to keep him there, is indicative of two things. Specifically, number one, they don't value Cody Rhodes enough, or maybe they do and he just wants a lot of money, right? But they clearly Even so, they don't value him enough because the value of Cody Rhodes is not in the money he's going to draw, because he's not going to draw a dime. He's never drawn a dime, and he never will. Ridge, stop. It's my dog, motherfucker. His name's Ridge. Deal with it. Like Ridge Holland. So, Ridge, stop it. So, the next point here is also this. The fact that they didn't pay him means either they undervalue like what he brings to the table, which is the fact that he's the guy that founded the company, or they don't have the money to pay him, and he's leaving for other reasons, like to go to WWE, right? But the fact is this. When one of the founding fathers of your company, when one of the executive VPs, whatever the fuck they are, one of these motherfucks leaves the company that they founded, right? I mean, again, I'm speculating. I don't know if he's got to go to WWE, but that's what I'm assuming, right? To join the competitor that the company was started to fight against, that means that Cody Rhodes has no faith in the long-term prospects of AEW. Which means that there must be other people in the company that also have no faith in the long-term prospects. Which means, motherfucks, that even those that do have long-term faith are going to have their faith waver, right? Imagine if you're, I don't know, Isaiah Cassidy, right? You're like, oh, I'm in the number 2 company. Not anymore, motherfucks. Now, soon enough, you're going to be number 3 company. Because Cody Rhodes, the person, it's almost the same. It would be like if Triple H left WWE and signed with AEW. It'd be like that. Where he has no faith in the way that Vince is handling things. The company's going to go bankrupt. So he's like, I'm going to get out of here before I go bankrupt with this company, right? That's basically what Cody did. Now, I'm not saying that AEW is going to go bankrupt tomorrow, next month, next year, in 10 years. I'm not saying that TNA's still around, right? But the facts are what the facts are. There is clearly a stagnation of growth. And what Cody hoped to achieve, he did not achieve with AEW. He did not become this legitimate competitor. Because if he did, he would stay in AEW and continue fighting the war towards success, right? All he did basically for 3 years was come to AEW, complain for 3 years, boost his resume, by starting a company, and now he can go to WWE and he won't be the returning Cody Rhodes with no entrance music. He will be the big shot, like the number 1 free agent right now in wrestling, right? Like Cody Rhodes, people don't get this, but Cody Rhodes as a wrestler is a bigger deal. Cody Rhodes coming back to WWE is a way bigger deal than CM Punk going to AEW. I mean, especially now that we know that CM Punk going to AEW means fucking nothing. It's just him feuding with like Ricky Starks for a week, and now he's feuding with someone else and nobody cares, right? The facts are what the facts are. With Cody Rhodes abandoning ship, other people are going to be demoralized. The next person, you already see it. Like AEW signings have gone steadily downhill since the holidays. They signed Adam Cole, they signed Daniel Bryan, they signed CM Punk, and now people have to mark out for Keith Lee. Keith Bearcat Lee, motherfuckers. Bask in his glory. Word. How about bask in the fact that the company is going down the drain? They're not profitable yet. They're not good enough yet. And their literal number 1 guy left. And he didn't leave to go to WWE and win the Royal Rumble and be the head of wrestling. He came, probably he's going to go, and if he makes it in time, he might have a WrestleMania match or something. It depends on his contract, right? And it'll be him versus like AJ Styles. He'll be like, or him versus like Orton. He'll be in that caliber of match, and it'll be a big deal because it's Cody Rhodes coming back, right? And he'll probably win. But then eventually, he's going to be treated the same way that like Jeff Hardy has been treated countless times. Because Cody Rhodes, big star that he is, he's not Jeff Hardy, motherfucks. And the facts are what the facts are. He's going to come back. He's going to get a mid-card push. He might get like a quasi-main event push. And then he's going to lose to Roman Reigns. And that's it. That's the end of that. He might become champion one day. I honestly, I kind of hope he does because he's busted his ass. He had to start an entire company to put himself over. You know what I'm saying? And that takes balls. That takes balls and effort. To start an entire company with the entire premise being to put yourself over. I said this in the beginning. And I've said it throughout my time on YouTube. I have said it. Cody Rhodes is there to promote himself and his wife. He is not there to promote AEW. He doesn't care. He cares about promoting himself. Yeah, occasionally he loses a match to Sammy Guevara. But the facts are what the facts are. From the beginning, as usual, I was right. He was there to promote himself. And now that he's promoted himself, shit, he doesn't need Tony Khan anymore. And his paycheck. He's made his money, I'm sure, right? He does other things now. He's got a reality TV show, right? I mean, that shit's gonna get canceled right away because I'm sure it's in collaboration with AEW. But the facts are what the facts are. Unless Cody Rhodes retires or something, he's gonna end up in WWE, right? Making more money than he did in AEW, right? And let's be honest, wrestling in a more prestigious company. The real news here is that AEW is fucked. Now, AEW video game is supposed to come out. And people were like, WWE released, like, Malachi Black. They released Eric Young. They released Mustafa Ali. So, who are we going to play as in the WWE game? Well, that is for you, pal. AEW, Cody Rhodes is gone. You can't play as Cody Rhodes. I mean, I'm sure they'll have him in the game. But you can't play, Owen Hart's here. Great. You know what I'm saying? What match are you going to do? Owen Hart versus Sonny Kiss? You know what I'm saying? There's the roster is done. You can add whoever they want. But their number one guy left. Their guy that it was synonymous with AEW. The most important person in AEW is Kenny Omega, followed by Cody Rhodes. And you can argue either one. Cody Rhodes or Kenny Omega are the number one and number 1B. Right? It depends on the day of the week. Recently, it's been Cody Rhodes. Kenny Omega hasn't been around for a while. It's been Cody Rhodes. And then the number 3 guy, I'd say like as a singles wrestler, Jericho. And then you have the Young Bucks. And then you have everyone else that joined afterwards. Those are the 4 stars that they had, right? When they started the company. When they had matches, I know they picked it up quick because they started signing Ambrose and shit like that. But the facts are what the facts are. The draw was going to be Jericho versus Adam Page. That was the first pay-per-view, right? Then everyone else came from WWE for the paycheck, and now they've all been exposed as having made the incorrect decision, motherfuckers. It's as simple as that. If the guy that started the company wants to leave, it is only a matter of time before the company falls apart. Now, I don't want my words to be conflated with my desires. What I believe is going to happen and what I want to happen are 2 completely different things. Despite common belief, I do not want AEW to fail. At all. I want AEW to succeed and be good. I want Raw to be good. I want NWA Power to be good. I want fucking MLW to be good. I want Lucha Underground to come back. I want as much good wrestling as possible because I love wrestling. So I don't want AEW to fail. But the facts are what the facts are. It's just that AEW, when their golden boy AJ Styles left, it was literally all downhill from there. That was a big mistake when they didn't get AJ Styles every penny. They should have like quadrupled his salary and said, thanks for staying here this whole time, kid. If it weren't for you, this company would never have gotten off the ground. But instead, they even snubbed him off the Hall of Fame. I don't think AJ Styles is a TNA Hall of Famer. Kurt Angle's in the Hall of Fame. Sting's in the Hall of Fame. Dudley Boys are in the Hall of Fame. Earl Hebner. You know what I mean? It's all these people or whatever. Mike, you're one of those referees, right? And AJ Styles is not in the Hall of Fame? You know? They snubbed him. And he went to greener pastures, and he's having the best moments of his career still. Same thing with Cody Rhodes. Except, unlike AJ Styles, who appears to be a very honorable guy who stuck through with TNA until they lowballed him. He stuck through. He could have been a big star in WWE. Like, if he had gone like 5 years earlier, when he was like 30, if he had gone when he was 30, he'd just show up there and be like, yo, what's up, motherfuckers? You know? I'm AJ Styles. I'm literally the best wrestler in the world. Like, everyone knows it. You know? And AJ Styles was the best wrestler in the world. He wasn't like CM Punk, where he just says he's the best. AJ Styles was like the consensus best wrestler in the world. Like, never made any mistakes, few botches, great moves, you know, very athletic. Everybody knows AJ Styles, and everybody loves AJ Styles. But the point I'm trying to make is this, motherfuckers. Cody Rhodes, instead, pulled an AJ Styles on himself. He played himself, motherfuckers. Except the only person that got played here was Tony Khan. This fanboy was taken for everything he had. He thought that Cody Rhodes was going to be behind him and it was going to help him build a company. And what did Cody Rhodes do? He milked him dry by having Tony Khan give jobs to his wife, who does nothing, to Brandon Cutler, who does nothing, to Nakazawa, who does nothing, to Goldust, who hasn't done anything in a while, even though Goldust is pretty cool. You know, this guy, can you imagine the other people that Cody has gotten jobs for? You know, the amount of cross-promotion that Cody has done simply for himself. Cody versus Shaq was not to put AEW over. It was to put Cody over. Cody versus all the people that came from WWE that Cody beat, right, was to put Cody over. He never put one guy over, motherfucks. He may have lost a match to Malachi Black here and there, but in the end, who came out on top? Cody Rhodes. If Malachi Black had left, nobody would give a fuck. Cody Rhodes leaves, I can't wait till he debuts in WWE. Imagine if he actually cuts a promo acknowledging AEW. He'll probably do it in like with some shade. He'll be like, sorry, I've been gone for a while, guys. I had some important business to take care of. It didn't really work out or something like that. Hopefully it's something like that. But the reality is what the reality is. Cody Rhodes, as far as I'm concerned, has betrayed his friends. He's betrayed the company. It's as simple as that. And hey, fuck it, motherfuckers. Fuck it. You play yourself? You play yourself. That's what happened with Tony Khan. He thought that he had Cody in his pocket, and now I'm sure Tony Khan is devastated. realizing that the reality is starker than he thought. That at any given moment, Cody Rhodes can put in a good word for the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. He could call them up. They're still friends. I mean, it'd be hard for me if I were Kenny Omega to be friends with Cody Rhodes now, because Kenny Omega turned down apparently a big contract with WWE, as did the Bucks. So what's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen, folks. I'll tell you very easily what's going to happen. What's going to happen is this. Cody Rhodes can call up Kenny and the Young Bucks and Goldust for sure. Goldust can get a job at WWE like tomorrow if you want to do, right? And Cody Rhodes can just go and talk to like people that he knows in the company that are high up, like Randy Orton, Triple H, all these people, right? He can be like, look, guys, you know what I was doing, right? Like, I broke the throne so I could put myself over, right? No hard feelings, Triple H. I put myself over. I did what you would do, right? And I'm not trying to make this into a drama or anything, but the facts are, he can just go to Vince even and be like, look, Vince, like, that company, AEW, even though they're a pissant company, like Triple H said, they are taking away some of your viewers. They are taking away some of your viewers. Do you want to shut them down and shut them out completely? And Vince is going to say, I don't really care because it's a pissant company. But then, here's what Vince is going to do. He's going to say, fine, how do we do it? And he's going to say, sign Kenny Omega, sign the Young Bucks, sign Dean Ambrose back, right? And then Jericho, I'm sure by that time he'll be back already, right? Get Jericho back, and then that's it. It's a wrap. The company is done. Once those people leave, the company is over. Daniel Bryan can go back whenever he wants. CM Punk can be the only guy. He could be like the fucking, like when Kurt Angle was the only guy in TNA. You know what I mean? He could be like that guy. And that's going to be it, motherfuckers. That's going to be it for AEW. Now, they're going to stick around. I have faith, I have faith. And I actually think they might improve by getting rid of these jobbers, and hiring some good people. Push Wardlow. Have Wardlow destroy everybody, Sign some of those MLW guys that are going to be huge stars, That's what I'm saying. But the facts are what the facts are. Now, Cody Rhodes has an in, right? I mean, assuming he goes to WWE. But even if he doesn't, Vince McMahon knows that people are ready to leave. Because if Cody's ready to leave, and Brandy, if they're ready to leave, if they had like a career, Cody could wrestle for AEW for 5 more years. And if AEW still exists, he can have a job with them for the rest of his life. So can Brandy, doing nothing. But despite that, he left. Must say a few things. So this man can now go and approach people. He can be like, all right, we don't want Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, all these traders, right? Just like he didn't want Jeff Jarrett when he bought WCW. But he might have a desire to sign Darby Allin. He might contract Sting for one more match. He might decide that Big Show can come back and Mark Henry can come back. He might take Jericho. He's friends with all these people. He can be like, look, I get what you guys are doing. You wanted some money from that Tony Khan guy, but now welcome home. This has worked out perfectly for Vince and WWE. It's over for AEW. Any fan that has aspirations that AEW will ever become a competitor to WWE is out of their fucking minds. It's over. They will never seriously compete with WWE. And if they do, it's going to take a fucking miracle. And miracles do happen. But in my opinion, this is one of those few times when you can say never. They say never, but I'm saying never, motherfuckers. Of course, it's obviously possible. John Cena, Randy Orton, Stone Cold, The Rock, Brock Lesnar, Kane, Undertaker, Booker T, Eddie Guerrero rises from the grave, right? And they all join AEW. Then yeah, there's a chance, right? Hulk Hogan too. There's a chance. But in reality, with people like Isaiah Cassidy, with people like Mark Quinn, with people like Darby Allin, with people like MJF, who's kind of growing on me, but nevertheless, with people like Jake Hager, with people like Santana and Ortiz, who I don't even know why they have jobs. With these people, you will never have a successful wrestling company. You know how I know? Because no one has ever had a successful company based on those people. Plain and simple, motherfuckers. Plain and simple. And with that being said, the Hater is back once again. Before WrestleMania, we're doing the Hater Reboot 3. And if anyone has a problem with that, I'll show them my sack, motherfuckers. Because last time I did a reboot, Technical Worker Productions, oh, he took a shot at us. Nobody gave a fuck about these two jabrones. But maybe I will. Maybe this reboot is going to be a better, more aggressive hater who's out there hating on these motherfuckers. Just out there doing hating videos. But for now, we're going to focus on the task at hand. And that is analyzing closely this AEW situation, this Cody Rhodes situation. I cannot wait till tomorrow, which is Wednesday, so I can see what the hell they're going to do and what the hell they're going to say. And with that, motherfuckers, you played yourself. Take care.